So yesterday, Capcom released a new update for Dragon's Dogma 2, and it seems like this latest patch have been in the hands of their skeleton crew for over 3 months. It's pretty obvious that Capcom is gearing up for their Wilds release, and that resources have been pulled away from Dragon's Dogma 2, but it's good to see that they are still working on the game. It also gives us hope that an upcoming DLC is on the way, and that they are working behind the curtains to get the game ready for an upcoming expansion. Now, while this update only contains fixes and some modifications to the game files, what's interesting is the focus on pawns and specifically fixes to their behavior. It might be just me reading too much into this, but in one of my latest videos, we talked about the multiplayer leak and the Tower of the New Moon. I think Riftstones will play an important part in the DLC, since these are gateways to other realms for pawns, and maybe this is how our Arisen will traverse to other worlds as well. This could be with the help of some new sort of Riftstone created by Wyrmslife crystals, or blood crystals like the ones seen in Dragon's Dogma Online. As stated in one of the loading screens, the blood of the Arisen has been known to remain in the form of crystals. There are many interesting tidbits of lore and hints towards an expansion in these loading screens, not to mention the appearance of both Daemon and the depiction of a Hydra in the background. The Stygian Omen chest piece also resembles the second form of Daemon's face, with the description reading, "Armor designed to resemble a face glaring from the shadows, inspires terror in those who behold it, and offers peerless protection and mobility." So, clearly, Daemon is a part of this world, but we're not introduced to him yet. The reason I believe these things actually mean something is the way Itsuno answered this Eurogamer reporter after launch 9 months ago. He asked Itsuno about the title screen and what it was trying to imply. His cryptic response left me with more questions than answers. All we can say is nothing in this game is unintentional, and we'll leave it at that. When reading this, what came to mind was all of those sealed off doors the community have found after release. Even though this could mean that these were dungeons or ideas that were scrapped during development, I believe these doors are some of the most solid hints we have that an expansion is planned for the game. And these doors will act as gateways to these new locations and dungeons. This Redditor posted all his findings here, and what's interesting is how most of these doors lead to massive empty spaces on the map, often located at the edge of the explorable world. Introducing the DLC this way, the map would get expanded and filled out naturally. Furthermore, there is a loading screen that reinforces the idea that they have planned new areas for us to explore. This one states, "The north of the continent is said to be home to an ancient nation, but records of its existence are scarce, and there has been no contact with its people for over a century." Not only does this hint a new northern location, but also a new race of people that live there. Maybe this could be an ancient race of dwarves or elves living north of Vermund. And from different vantage points in the world, we can also see snow-covered mountains far in the distance. The Shack Hermit and previous Arisen is also sailing east towards an area of the map that we haven't discovered yet. All these signs point towards something more. And while Itsuno no longer spearheads the development of Dragon's Dogma 2, Kento Kinoshita is still credited as the lead game designer. Since Kinoshita directed both Dark Arisen and Dragon's Dogma Online, I think it's safe to assume he's working on the DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2 as well. In many ways, he understands what the community wants in terms of contents for a DLC, more so than Itsuno. And hopefully we'll see influences from Dion into the upcoming expansion as well, maybe in terms of new vocations and enemy types. The online version of the game certainly have a lot to offer, and we can only hope now that Kinoshita gets the resources needed to give us a proper DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2. But I think it's important to remind ourselves how well Dragon's Dogma 2 actually sold. It was the third most downloaded game in Japan and won the partner awards for excellence there. And with over 3 million units sold in 2024, it's now considered a key brand for Capcom according to their 2025 forecast. I think it's time for the community to accept this new reality. Although, I know it's hard to have hope when we have been the Black Child for so long. But right now, we just have to patiently wait for Wild's release next month, and hopefully we'll get some DLC news a couple of months after that, when things have cooled down a bit for Monster Hunter. I will probably not play Wilds since it's an anime game for kids, but instead I'll be working on videos for every vocation and their evolution from Dark Arisen to Dragon's Dogma Online and their changes in the sequel. I have been working on this for a while now, and hopefully I can get this out in February. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.